Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Happy Friday. We're heading right into the weekend. Dun, dun, dun. The market was down just a little bit today. I was basically unchanged today, really. Looked like it might have been heading a little bit higher earlier today. We did touch a new all-time high, but couldn't quite close at one today. Now, it's been kind of an interesting week, and there might be some more interesting stuff moving forward. And what I'm talking specifically about are some of the policies that have been announced by the Trump administration, some this week and some within the last couple of weeks before that. So this week, we saw that the Department of Defense is investing more in rare earths, and I already did a video or even two about that one. We also saw yesterday that they're investing, that the Department of Energy is accepting applications to fast track uranium production to keep uranium production in-house for nuclear power. And that has caused rare earth stocks and uranium stocks to really take off. He also announced some regulatory rollbacks, one of which I find to be pretty interesting that might have some more legs going forward. There's a 2-year suspension of Biden-era EPA rules, which help coal and iron ore and chemical producers operate with looser regulations. AI and energy investment, domestic pharmaceuticals, and critical minerals and chips. Now, there were some new investment accelerator stuff aimed at domestic semiconductor and critical mineral projects. But what are critical minerals? So here's what I was thinking. Here's where my brain goes. And I'm just kind of speculating here. But what is one of the big things that the Trump administration talks about, but hasn't made quite one of these announcements yet? Has made other announcements about it, but not quite one of these, hey, we're giving tax incentives or whatever to. What about steel, right? I mean, this idea of putting a 50% tax on imported steel, well, that would require U.S. companies to make steel. And that would require a lot of infrastructure and a lot of effort to turn those machines back on, as they say. And so I wonder if one of the things that is being called a critical mineral might be metallurgical coal, coking coal, because you need a special type of coal in order to get the furnaces hot enough to make steel. Now, I'm not a geologist or anything like that. I just read things about this. But there could potentially be a 2.5% tax credit going towards metallurgical steel production within the U.S. And that could kind of take the sting out of getting those factories back up and rolling into full production after quite a long time. So I am wondering if maybe that might be another one of the new announcements. And there are some stocks like, first of all, before I even go into those stocks, this is one of the uranium ones, and that announcement just came out yesterday or 2 days ago. I was just writing a Substack post on this. I was in the middle of it, but I stopped to do this video for you. And there was a little bit of action before that. So, and why that is, I don't know. I know it wasn't me. I wish it was me, but it wasn't me. But if we look at BTU, which is Peabody Energy, produces coal, and they're pivoting towards coking coal for steel production. You know, they got a real good lift yesterday, and they're kind of upwardly trending. There's another company, CNR, which kind of made, I mean, it was an update yesterday, kind of made a little bit of a run for it today, just like the market, but couldn't quite do it. It's slightly upward trending. I don't know. I'm asking questions out loud. I'm asking questions of myself, what I think about it out loud. But this is a sector that I would not be super surprised if we get an announcement from in the near future. That, and maybe a couple others. Unmanned drones, like eVTOLs, which are electronic vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. There was one that I have been invested in, but it's a multinational company. Over the weekend, I've got a little bit of homework for myself to look into some more domestic ones, because domestic is what we're talking about with all these things. And between those two, I think those are some excellent stock opportunities to look into for the near future. Hope that helps. This is Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart, and have a great weekend.